So I think you all are misunderstanding what I said in my last video. I think Tua is a good quarterback, but we are trying to talk about elite quarterbacks. And when you watch this film breakdown, you're going to see that it's just certain things that there's elite quarterbacks, and what they do is they carry their team. And I don't mean by all means like all 11 players don't mean anything, it's just a quarterback. But here's the thing, when you watch the fumble and you watch the interceptions, they are terrible plays by Tua. The interceptions were both underthrown. And the one in the middle, he just didn't even look at the safety. He just assumed that Tyreek was going to cut in the middle. You can't throw that because that's 3 points. And when you look at what Tua's turnovers did for the team, it was a complete almost like 13-point swing where we would have been 9-3 going into half. We ended up being 10-6 going into the half, 10-6 going into half. We would have had the lead for most of this game if Tua doesn't turn the ball over. And these are the difference between good QBs and elite QBs. And we see this happening with Tua every single time that there's a pressure game. He just does not make good decisions. Things just don't look right. And we've seen it multiple times. Do I think he can be a franchise QB? Yes, I think he can. But when you put elite, you're talking about a person that you can just plug into a team and just makes it better, which, of course, yes, he does, because backup quarterbacks and all that stuff, they're not good. But in order to make Tua good, you need a lot of pieces around him. It's similar to Drew Brees. Drew Brees with a crap offensive line and no receivers is not going to make anybody better. You need to stack a wall in front of him and get him bigger receivers so that he can have an easier time. And if you do that, then he's going to be much better. But when we're talking about elite, like Tua can be an elite quarterback, that I'm not sure. Because again, when you watch these games, he starts panicking. And this is the difference, the biggest difference between Tom Brady, Dan Marino, all those different people, is that they have this dog in them that when these moments come, they look better than what they did in regular games. Whereas Tua, he looks to shrink every time. We'll get into it back. But the elite part is what I'm saying he is not. The whole time that Tua was in the league, I always thought that he would be an elite quarterback. What I said in that last video, I think people are misunderstanding. I don't think he sucks. I don't think Tua sucks. I didn't just suddenly transform in thinking that Tua sucks. What I'm saying is that, again, there are certain types of players that elevate their team. And I think Tua, he can bring you somewhere, but you have to get a lot of pieces around him. I don't think that he's elite, which is something that I think a lot of us were saying about him. And it's just not true, he's done this in too many games for us to call him elite, The thing is us as Tua fans, we were trying to put him in like the Patrick Mahomes and those types of categories, the Josh Allen. And we have to understand that, yeah, the Bills have a better quarterback than us. And I don't think we move off of Tua because of this game. That's not what I'm saying. I think people are misunderstanding that. I don't think we move off of Tua and just draft another quarterback. I maybe was a little heated in that, but I just don't think that he's elite, and it's because every time we play a game like this, you have to understand the pressure situations. And basically what I mean by that is, yes, the Bills he played really good against, but the first game, there was a lot of pressure on that game, and he didn't show up, and then the second game, everybody thought we were going to lose, and he showed up. It's like when the pressure is on is when Tua seems to fumble it. And listen, I've watched this guy for a long time. And, the thing is I understand Mike McDaniel's not the best and all that stuff, but we're trying to categorize him as elite. And I don't think that you can do that in that category. Because, the thing is the reason why the turnovers are such a big deal is because in this game, if he does not turn the ball over like he did, it is a much closer game. In fact, probably by a few points to the end of the game. But the problem is he kept turning the ball over. And that's what we're all seeing right now, is that It wasn't just that he didn't have a great game. Of course, he didn't have a great game. But the problem was that he kept turning the ball over throughout the entire game, and every throw, the things that people say that were like, we try and defend with the arm strength and all that stuff. It shows up in these games because all of those passes, distinctly passes that he intercepted, they were underthrown. The one to the outside, he threw it too much to the inside, so Stingley broke on it. And then the end of the game, even that play right there where he just throws the ball into the dirt, where he could, in games that he doesn't have that much pressure, he makes that throw. Like this right here is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. In pressure moments, he's seen this before. He rolls out and he throws it, but he just throws a duck into the floor. This is the difference, guys. This is the difference between elite quarterbacks and regular good quarterbacks. Is pressure moments, you make that throw, because at the end of the day, that was the drive ender, essentially. That ended the drive. So again, like I said, he's a good quarterback. So he got us in the end zone. But this is what I'm talking about, is you can't have plays like this. You want to call him one of the elite quarterbacks. You cannot have plays like this. And, Rex Ryan, a lot of them are right. A lot of these passes are screens. And you have to understand, man, I don't want to categorize him as good. But, again, a lot of his passes are this, where it's a screen out to the outside. It's a lot of those. And plays that you need to make, like the biggest difference between what I could say is Tua and CJ Stroud is Tua throws that duck into the floor to end the drive. CJ Stroud, with a guy on his back falling down, makes a throw for the first down. Those are elite quarterbacks. Those are guys that, you need to make. There's only like 4 or 5 plays that you need to make throughout a game to really define yourself as elite. And every time I just see that Tua does not make those plays. And again, it's multiple interceptions every time we play this type of pressure type of game. Season on the line. You need this win. And you have to understand the completion. I don't want to hear none of that anymore because, again, a lot of these completions, yes, they're beautiful throws, some of them. But a lot of completions are just screens to the outside. A lot of them are just that. And then the guys do it. Again, I want to reiterate this. I am not saying he's a trash quarterback. I think he reads defenses very well. I think he makes a lot of accurate throws, and I think he can be, a franchise QB. But I don't think that he's elite. I think that dog that you see in like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, where I'm going to win this game, I don't see that in him, And again, like I said, a lot of screens. I don't see it in him, and it's kind of like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Or I think it's the other way around. Fool me a third time, and it's like, all right, I'm starting to take the hint here. This happens every single season, where pressure games on the line, and Tua looks great the entire season, and then this type of game comes along, and he just looks like a shell of himself. Like he doesn't look like he knows what to do. Just, it sucks. I'm not saying it's. But this is the difference between elite quarterbacks and good quarterbacks. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league, There's a lot of good quarterbacks. But when we're talking about elite, and I think a lot of you want to put him in that category, you just can't. You really just can't at this point. I've been one of those that I wanted him to just have that dog game that, everybody's like, oh, okay. This dude, I thought when he did it against Baltimore, which honestly, I don't know what happened to him, because when you saw him in his rookie years, and there's one thing that I can maybe give it up to. And it's just Mike McDaniel's offense is soft, and it's not like a competitive offense. Because here's the thing. This is for all the Tua haters out there that are probably watching this. When we saw him in his rookie year, and the year that Mike McDaniel first got into the league, he seemed to have this dog in him that when he had the concussions, it just wasn't there anymore, where he just doesn't seem to have that anymore. He's trying to be too cool about it. And, something I would like to see from Tua is slam your helmet, like something, show some sort of emotions. Like every time I see him on the sideline, he just looks bewildered. He looks like confused when these things happen. I want to see this dude slam his helmet, show the dog in you that I don't know. I just, like I said, when I first saw him in the league, it looked like he had the dog in him. And now he just doesn't look like he has it, like right here. Just a complete panicky ball that just, this is what I'm talking about, where he panics. And it's like right here. Normally in non-pressure games, he knows how to move around the pocket. And it's just, he just, I understand the pressures in his face. But I mean, it's like, he just doesn't seem to know what's going on. It's just one of those things, man, I just don't think that he's the elite quarterback. I think that his talents and his traits have hit a ceiling, and the ceiling is that, I understand the offensive line is hot garbage. Like that's just, it is what it is. But again, this was a game that you needed, and there were certain plays, like the one where he's rolling out to his left. There's certain plays, like if he hits these plays, it changes the game. And then on top of that, if you don't turn the ball over, right now it's 10-3. And the reason behind that is because of a fumble. This is very important stuff, man. It's because of a fumble. He fumbled the ball and gave the ball back to him in our side of the field, And you can say whatever you want about the offensive line, but at the end of the day, then hold on to the ball, man. If they're all coming at you from all sides, take the sack. These are elite plays. Sometimes the play is dead, so don't create an even worser play. And this is what he tends to do in these games. Is it's not even just that he doesn't play well. He turns the ball over a lot, and this is not good quarterback stuff. And again, and then he starts, he turns the ball over a couple times. And one of the things I saw when he was younger is he would turn the ball over and then he'd come back again and score. Like he would just, but it seems to be since Mike McDaniel has taken over, it's like he turns the ball over and then he just becomes a shell. Like he just doesn't know what he's doing anymore. He starts panicking. Because this is the perfect example is when he played the Falcons with Brian Flores. And he turned the ball over a lot, but every time he turned the ball over, he brought us back. And it seems like this year, if he turns the ball over, which again, look at it, a lot of screens, just a crap ton of screens. Almost every single play is a screen. So I'm talking about with the completion percentage. And it just seems like now when he throws a turnover, he starts panicking and he's just not there anymore. Yeah. And this is the problem, is that it's not just a bad game. Like people are going to say he can't have a bad game. I get that. But in this type of game, turning the ball over this many times, 4 times, is unacceptable. He almost turned it over right there. It's like he is a shell of himself in these games. And he seems to be panicking right now. And you can tell, like, right there, he's not reading the defense anymore because that safety was clearly right there. He didn't move. He was right in the middle of the field. And this is going to be, fumbled right there too. This is what I'm talking about. I understand he scored a touchdown like you're supposed to. You have Tyreek Hill, you have these players. But turning the ball over the way that he did is the problem. Because You fumble it, which it's a stupid fumble. Like, you guys have to be able to admit that. It's a stupid fumble. And the reason it's stupid is because it's our side of the field. You have to just take that sack. Again, you're going to see, like, the whole game, it's a bunch of screens, which I think we need a bigger receiver. I think that's something that we definitely need to acquire. But if you look at this game, if he doesn't fumble that ball, it's 6-3. We're going into halftime with the lead if he doesn't fumble that. It's just literally a 7-point swing. It's 6-3 if he doesn't fumble that ball going into halftime. And then what you're going to see as well is he's going to throw an interception in the second half. Right here, actually. That is a 10-point swing that they have. 10-point swing in a big game. The 2 turnovers in the first half. And then he does 2 more in the second half. Cost the team 10 points. It's like he, at that point, you can't throw that ball. I understand Tyreek Hill needs to be somewhere, and I get that, but we can't be throwing the ball like this at this type of game, and then they go down and they score again. This is it would be a completely different game. It would be 6-3 going into halftime. Now it's 20-6. These are things that this is very important stuff. You can't do this. You can't do that. And he does this in every single game. So I think, he can be a franchise QB, but you need to get many more things around him. You need to stop with these short receivers, and he needs help. He needs someone that he can throw the ball up to sometimes. We're going to see, the touchdown run, and this is what makes Tua a good quarterback. This drive is where you go, okay, we got something here, but it's just not consistent. This is the problem, is it's not consistent, and it has to be, man. I mean, you can't be having games like this where you're just not consistent. These are smart plays. Like that play before where he fumbled in the first half, just lay down, take the sack, take a punt. But again, it's like he starts panicking in these games. That's a beautiful throw. These are the elite traits, 100%. I'm not taking away that from Tua. Like, that's a beautiful pass. It's a dot. But it just seems like he panics in games. And he starts, these balls, if they are a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, it's an interception. And this is the problem. And he's just, the point of this is that, he can't be throwing stupid plays like this and costing the game. Essentially this is what costs the game. Throwing interceptions and fumbling the ball costs us the game, because basically you're going to take 10 points off of this lead right now. Think of that. With the interceptions and the fumble that he had, take 10 points off. It is 10-6, and we're about to score right now. We would have the lead. We would have had the lead for most of this game. The momentum would have been ours. Everything would have been ours. Right now he's going to just... This is the point that I'm trying to make, is that you have to understand that you can't do that, because if he doesn't do that, we have the lead right now, and it's a completely different game. You can't do that. And these are the elite drives. He has these elite drives, and he looks like the guy that we are all talking about, but then most of the game it's just like a weird, like he's like not himself. And that just has to do with some people in certain moments, they elevate, whereas some other people, they just don't. And we've just seen it with Tua too many times, that he just does not elevate. Beautiful ball. If he plays like this throughout the entire game, it's a different ball game. Watch this throw. It's the consistency that we're talking about. That's what it is. It's the consistency. And, you know, if he does this all game, it's a different game. And you'll see right here, he's just going to underthrow it. You know, this is the problem. He underthrows these things. If he throws that to the outside, nobody can get that. But he throws it right to the inside where Stingley can get that. These are just stupid plays that you can't have happen. Watch this ball. I want you all to watch this ball. Just watch where it goes. Goes directly to the inside. And he has time. Where's that ball going? That's just a horrible throw. Where is that ball going? A cut in, and they did an out and up, and he just underthrows it. He just underthrows that ball. You'll see it right here. They're trying to do a bomb. I mean, Tyreek doesn't have much on him, but you can't. Yeah, you can't throw that ball. And that's it for the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, really good QB, but I don't think that he's elite. I think that dog is just not in him to win these types of games, to play better than normal, you know, to hone in even more when games like this occur. Because every single time we have a game like this, not only does he not play well, he turns the ball over, which kills our team. Like, this is the reason that we lose these games, is because of the turnovers. He had 4 this game. It's unacceptable. You can't have that as a quarterback. Now, again, do I think he can be a franchise QB? Yeah, I think he can. I don't think you're going to get much better than this. But I think he needs a lot of pieces in order to do that. And I think they're not doing that. And we'll probably make a video later on this week, you know, about Greer and what he's kind of put together with Tua. But yeah, again, do I think he's a good quarterback? Yeah, of course. You can't sit there and say that he's not a good quarterback. But is he elite? No, you can't really put him in that conversation. He's got to be maybe 10 to 15. You know, he's not, because he just doesn't have those moments. Like I said, C.J. Stroud almost getting sacked makes a play. Tua throwing the ball into the dirt. You know, it's the complete difference between those types of quarterbacks. So, as always, guys, fins up, baby. Love you all. Peace.